Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Deep Dive with myself, Sian Horn, and the amazing
Pamela Walsh.
Look, I don't know how your week has been, Pam. Mine's been a bit of an eye-opener. It's been really different. I'm seeing a lot of stuff going on. We're in that middle ground of January where everybody set these amazing, phenomenal intentions on the 1st of Jan. Now they're either depressed because they haven't met them or they're smug because they did, and everything's driving me mad.
I think most people set too big intentions. You're never going to be able to sustain things that big, It's like small incremental improvements, that's how you land it. I didn't set any intentions. I'll do one or two for February on, but it's more, mine is build my own muscle mass and get healthier, which is actually what we will be talking about today as well. But
yeah, it's I put a post up yesterday actually on Instagram, and it had a post-it on someone's dress, and it says, "I'm so sorry, I can't, please don't hate me." And that is the only intention I set this year is, we spoke about just being.
Yeah.
And that is 100% my intention. I just want to be. I know I'm going to have to say no to things. I know I'm going to have to stand my ground on things. And I know I'm going to lose things. I know I'm going to not be working with some people that I potentially want to work with. But that's the only way that I'm going to create what I want to create.
Yeah, you do. You have to be I got a call yesterday from a girl asking if I was around for some, just and it's small stuff, you know what I mean? Which I could have been okay, I have 2 hours, I'll just slot 2 hours in, it'll be fine. But I had to go back to her and say, look, if you want me, it's going to be March. But if you need somebody sooner, I will recommend somebody to you that's really, really good, because I have 2 project kickoff meetings this week, and I have a meeting this afternoon where we will be doing proposal planning for a project. So that's potentially 3 big projects in Q1 starting for me. I'm capped out, cannot do any more than that, at my maximum capacity with that. And I have to be realistic about my time.
Yeah, no, it's time is super, super precious. But I am seeing a real flip of both. I am seeing a lot of people, I don't want to know. I don't want the smugness. Leave it, please. I'm over it. And I don't know, do you need to tell everybody if you feel that you're not achieving, we're only sort of a couple of weeks into the year. Why don't you sit down, we spoke actually before we came on about preempting the situation. As a coach, we teach people not to worry about what happened in the past. Try not to use it. Don't reflect on what could happen in the future. Be present in the time. So often if I'm not achieving what I want to, where I thought I'd be, I've just got to sit down and work out why that happened. Start again, start afresh. Don't worry about what happened yesterday. You can't change it. And then, proceed. But I think we do a lot of beating ourselves up, and it's got to stop. And we also do a lot of that preempting, but what if this happened and what if that happened? I know we spoke before we came on about I'm trying to get a few women to, do interviews and make themselves visible. And the amount, I'd say 90%, can I just put it off for a bit? Because if this happens, then I won't be able to. And I'm not quite there yet. Listen, You're all there. Everybody is there. If you're in business, you have a business. If you made 50p last week, you have a business. It's that simple. It doesn't matter if you're not exactly where you want to be. You have that business, and now is the time to start talking about it. Not when you feel that you're ready. You've just got to do it.
Yeah. And that opportunity that you're avoiding because you don't feel ready might get you there where you're trying to be without you even realizing it.
Oh my God. 100%.
Yeah.
Because you never know.
Because I was chatting to you that I'm doing headshots with Chani Anderson after this, which I love Chani, chat away to her forever, but I'm allergic because I don't want my photos taken. I feel very insecure, self-conscious. It's a couple of weeks after Christmas, carrying that lovely Christmas weight. But and I was genuinely going, oh, maybe I'll wait till February or March because I might drop a few pounds, I might look a bit better. I'll wait, I'll buy new clothes. And last week I was just sat there going, no, I just need to do it. Like get photos done. I can do more photos in 6 or 9 months if I want, if I hate them, just if I hate how I look in them. So I was literally yesterday like tearing out my own wardrobe to see, right, what have I got that I can do? I'm not getting my hair done. I've just plastered my own self in makeup. I'm not making a big deal of it because I'm like, it's just a couple of photographs. It doesn't have to be this whole event thing. And then I can do it again eventually because I was just like, if I don't do it now, like I'm going on holidays next week as well. So I'm like, I know I'll be bloated coming back from that. So there's never a good time. So I'm just going to do it, get it done.
And I'm sitting here going, where did you put £2 on? On your ankles?
Oh, no, I do. I'm like, you only see me from the face up.
But this is something to remember, okay? So obviously, I hold weight and I fluctuate. My weight fluctuates. I know my angles. No one is taking a picture of me from my right-hand side. It's just not happening. I am face forward, front. That is it. I do not want pictures taken from either side, actually, but my right is worse. But I know my angles. So I always say to people, if you're having a shoot done, because this is actually something in business that I really think that everybody should do. And there's two things, like get your branding right, have a forever brand for me. Then when you want to rebrand, it's just a tweak. But you are your business. So you're worth spending a bit of money on. And professional shot is worth its weight in gold. You never know when you need press. You never know when, so you might be collaborating with someone. You need a decent picture. It's the first port of call where people will see you. So yeah, know your angles. So all that takes is get a bloody tripod and take a picture from your sides and from your back and from your front and turn your head and then just scroll through them yourselves and go, oh my God, I don't like that. I like that. Everybody has an angle that works for them. Or find a picture. Someone may have taken a picture of you at a wedding or something that you actually like, which is really hard as well. But take that, give that to the photographer, and then Pinterest. Pinterest is genius. Yeah. Go on, remember how you want to be seen. But this whole thing, about losing a pound or two, forget it. It doesn't happen. And the most important thing is, I'll give you a good example, actually. A friend of mine in the UK the other week, she's had some surgery and she's dropped 6 stone. I didn't notice. I actually didn't notice. And I didn't notice because she's always been beautiful and I only ever look at her face.
Yeah.
And it was only, I saw a different picture on Facebook and I spotted her legs. And I rang her straight away and I said, have you done something? I just seen your legs. And she went, how did you see my legs? I said, I just saw your face. I said, and I didn't notice. I said, and then somebody else put up a picture and I said, I just saw your little ankles. I said, you've definitely lost weight. But it was from her ankles. That's why I said, where did you put £2 on your ankles? But look, get over it, guys. We all see ourselves in a completely different way to how other people see us. And £2 on, £2 off. We don't see that in each other. It's only us that see it in ourselves. So get the bloody picture taken. I'm so delighted that you're doing that today. You're going to feel amazing afterwards, by the way.
Oh, I don't know. We'll see now when I get there. But no, because it's just what I do as well is when I'm looking to work with somebody or finding out if I find a new business, and I'm always like, go straight away, I'll go onto their website to find out more about them. I'll go to their about page because I want to see who they are. And there's an awful lot of businesses don't have, like, they'll say about the company, but you don't know who the founder is, and you've no idea who you're actually dealing with underneath it all. So I do think it's kind of good to have those pictures. You've a face to a name, especially when you're a service provider, because you're dealing with that person all the time. You want people to know who you are.
Yeah. I think we've spoken about this before. I don't do discovery calls anymore. I don't need to do discovery calls anymore. I'm so visual on social media. People know if they want to work with me or not. Yeah. So that has taken hours out of my week. Hours.
Yeah, because the girl now who messaged me as well yesterday was like, I was thinking of doing a discovery call with you, but like she just sent me a voice note, was like, I just kind of need help with A, B, and C. Is that something that you can kind of help me with? And I was just like, yeah, I could definitely help you with those things. But like, again, March. And she was
Yeah.
like, brilliant. So I didn't need to do a call with her because she's been in my world. She's been watching me or whatever, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Amazing. Anything else happened this? I've forgotten what happened this week now. We got onto a completely different conversation then.
I know. I have I got a few messages. It was about 2 weeks ago actually. So I was going to talk about it, but I'll bring
Oh,
it up now. I suppose I put up a funny, I thought it was funny meme anyway, about it was like, welcome to self-employment, welcome to running your own business. If you don't already have anxiety, procrastination, or burnout, one will be handed to you, you know.
yeah.
Because I thought it was funny, and I got loads of feedback on it. Everyone was laughing, everyone thought it was funny. But I had one lady reach out to me and basically told me I was glorifying burnout for entrepreneurs.
And isn't it
So
funny that you got all these messages? Because this happened, something similar happened to me actually recently. You got all these messages, and all we're talking about is the negative one.
I know, just this stuff now is water off my back. I've no, I
Yeah.
like,
But isn't
it
it
doesn't
funny
bother
that,
me.
but it's water off your back, but it's in your head because it happened a couple of weeks ago and we're talking about it.
I don't know. I just, because I got into a conversation back and forth with her because I know the lady, and it was like, I just feel like there is a particular cohort of people who are like high vibe positivity only. We're not going to talk about the dark stuff. If we don't talk about it, we're like, it doesn't exist. If we mention burnout, we're manifesting it. And I think like we have to be very like clear about the fact when you go into business on your own, you're doing everything on your own. If you want to run a successful business and make money financially out of it, there's a lot of work involved. There's a lot of hours involved. Yes, we don't want to burn out, and we don't want to, get to that point, which we all get to the brink of it every so often. I know the signs now myself, and I'm like, right, I need to do something here because this is always a dark road when I get to it. But I think it's always a part of the entrepreneurial world that you have to juggle with, because I know when I'm doing something I enjoy as well, I really struggle to turn that off in my mind. I'm thinking about it at 3 o'clock in the morning when I roll over. I'm sending emails to myself. And this and this and this, I think it's very hard. I think we all have to juggle with burnout as part of being an entrepreneur. And like we're talking about health today, because the first foundation in this law that we're talking about is all to do with health. So like
Yeah,
burnout impacts so massively on your health as well.
absolutely. Like I find that this conversation is particular for me because so obviously I'm a bit older, and this is not to be said in a condescending way to anybody now, but it was different when I started working for myself. It was different when I started work. It was different. Mental health was certainly something that was never ever,
Yeah.
it didn't exist. Burnout, are you kidding me? Like people lived in burnout. That's just what we did. We got up at 5:30. We spent 2.5 hours on the train and the tubes to get to work. We worked for 9, 10 hours. We got home 2.5 hours later. And at the weekend, you would go completely and utterly flipping mental because you were so exhausted. You were delirious with the exhaustion. You would just get hammered and then forget all about it. That is burnout. So nothing I've experienced in the last 10 years is anywhere near what I experienced or what was expected of me in the workplace 30, 40 years ago. I'm not saying that was right. I like the way the world has evolved. I like the fact now that we are thinking about how we care for people. However, let's not take it too far. You better graft. And
Yeah.
if you're not a grafter, you're not an entrepreneur. It really is that simple. When you're a founder of your business, founders are reactive and they're different. They're different to a manager. A founder is the birth mother or the birth father. They will be different. So if you work for yourself, it's exactly the same as having a baby. Would you leave your baby cry? No, you wouldn't. Would that make you tired? Yes, it would. Is that burnout? No, it's not.
I think it's the difference for me with burnout
Oh,
is
burnout. Talking of
doing
burnout, burning my feet with the heater underneath my desk. Sorry.
doing something you enjoy versus doing something you don't enjoy that causes you stress. Do you know what I mean? Like, and
Okay, but as a founder, though, why are you doing something you don't enjoy?
but that's what I think it is. I think it's like to burnout. Full burnout is doing something that you really don't enjoy, that's sucking the life out of you day in and day out. What I think, I don't even know what to call it, but as like a founder, when you're doing work you love, you're still, you're burning your energy too much and you are
It's
doing
called
too much, but
tiredness.
it's
It's called
different.
exhaustion.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's called tiredness. It's called it. But you know when you're burnt out because you can't get out of your bed. You cry every morning. I know because I've been there.
I've been there. Yeah.
Absolutely. But then I have to work out, is this because of what I'm doing, or is this because of other elements in my life? And that's actually where a coach comes in. You've got to work that out. When you're a founder, it's completely mixed in with your life. So that 360 of your life and your work balance is so important as a founder because they integrate with each other.
Yeah, exactly. It's your life. It is just because everyone is talking about like hobbies and when to start a new hobby, and I'm always like, I don't have hobbies, and then I'm like, I also don't have time for hobbies. I have a 4-year-old and I'm trying to run a business at the same time. And the more I think about it, is like my hobby is listening to podcasts, is reading business books and learning more and more and more and finding out more. That's my hobby. I know it sounds sad, but that's the season of life I'm in. I don't have a lot of free
yes.
time. So
So you've just admitted you've got time for a hobby. But do you know what I mean? You've just admitted you've got time for, because we actually all have time to do anything that we want to do. If it's important, you will make the time for that to happen. And your hobby is really important. Without your time, you're no good to your daughter anyway. I always think of the story of Loretta Kennedy that owned Mama Bear Foods. And she always says she created this tomato ketchup, to be healthier for her kids, whatever. Could never take it any further because she didn't have the time. She had 3 kids. How was she ever going to create the time? 2 kids, I think she had actually at the time. Anyway, don't quote me on it. Anyway, went to stay with her sister-in-law, who's an unbelievable businesswoman, 4 kids. Loretta, she's like, Loretta, this sauce, you have to do something with this sauce. Loretta's like, I can't, I just don't have the time. And la, 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 la. And Loretta goes to bed. The next morning she wakes up, her sister-in-law has been up all night and she has created Loretta's business plan. She has organized how she takes this forward. She's put a strategy into place through the night. And Loretta is shamed into starting that business almost because she's realized if something is important, you will always find the time.
yeah.
This woman had 4 kids, a full-time job, a side hustle, and she created another business overnight. So you're not allowed to say that anymore. You're allowed to say is how you are going to create the time. Because if you've got time to listen to a podcast, go on social media, you've got time for you. And if
exactly.
I think talking of time for you,
to reframe it though, it's like, don't say you're too busy, say it's not a that's not a priority. And that's the way I am. Like all my podcasts, everything is listened to on the go. I'm constantly consuming information. But like, yeah, there's so much that I have to, because when you're juggling everything, you've only so many balls you can juggle anyway. They have to be really important balls.
Yeah.
But you can only hold 2 at a time when you're juggling, and everything else is in the air and you have to hope for the best that it lands properly.
Absolutely. And listen, there's going to be people listening to this podcast going, well, Sian doesn't have any kids, so it's easy for her to say, do you know what I mean? I have 3 businesses. Get over yourself. Shut up. There's going to be people listening to it go, well, she's only got 1 kid. What is she talking about? I've got 5 kids. Yeah. Everybody's life is different. Shut up. Stop comparing. This is how we feel. We're allowed to feel it. Yeah. But do you know what? I stopped that. I don't have time a long time ago. And actually redoing coaching back in 2020 really made me realize it's not I don't have the time. No, everybody has time. Everybody has time. But before we go any further, because I know we're going to go into thing, how did you get on last week? Because I asked you to take a little break.
Okay. So Shay was sick. So she was home. So I couldn't take a break at the end of last week.
I'm going to stop you for a second. I'm going to be a real coach now. I don't want to.
You might call it coach. I'll call it something else. But
okay. Well, this is, because I don't want to hear about anybody else. I just want to hear about how you got on.
I did it yesterday because I didn't get to do it last week because she was here and I just literally couldn't sleep because I was minding her and trying to work at the same time. And I did it yesterday. I was like, literally, I sent a screenshot to you. I have a little thing in my calendar 3 days a week that says rest so Shan doesn't give out to you. Um, and it was like 3:30 yesterday. I got something finished quicker than I thought I was going to get it finished. Banged off the emails, closed down my laptop, pulled all the blinds. My husband's working in the other room, and I was like, I'm gone for 30 minutes. I'm going to try and sleep. Do not make noise. So got into bed, lay there. Of course, I didn't sleep because my brain doesn't, but I
Yeah, you're not
rested.
supposed
I
to.
did rest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's not about sleeping. It really isn't about sleeping. It's about putting your feet up for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So do both you and your husband both work from home?
We like he works from home Monday to Thursday. He's in the office on
Okay.
Friday. Yeah, he's
So,
in another room.
when I got asked this question now just because I'm nosy, when the child is sick, then is it just it's only your responsibility to
We flip back and forth because
okay?
if I'm on
So,
calls, then he
yeah.
has to manage.
So,
If he's on
if
calls, I manage.
so if she's sick this week,
Hmm.
how do we organize the time for you that 20 minutes?
Well, what we generally do is like my husband is an IT engineer,
Yeah,
so when
so not
he's on a
what's
call,
happened. Hang on, going to coach you again. Not what's happened this week moving forward, because I want you to get your 20 minutes. How will you change things this week for you to get that 20 minutes?
I did yesterday. No, what I think I
Okay,
need to do is be realistic. I'm not going to be able to do 2 or 3 days a week, but I think if I can manage to anchor 1 day a week and then try and build from there once I've that habit
so
created.
we've anchored one day, so that's Thursdays.
It will never be a specific day because like I have like meetings going in crazy, but I make sure it's
can
going to
tell
be
you,
in a day.
I can tell you that this is never going to work for you because it's not important to you.
I know. It's
Yeah.
on my list, and it's more because Shan will shame me. You know what I mean? And that's what
Yeah,
it's for you. I'm doing it, not
no,
for me.
exactly. So I'm going to tell you not to do it. And I'm going to tell you not to do it. I think it's a shame not to do it because it will make a change to your life. But it's a suggestion when you put things to people. And within a week, you know if it's for them or not. It's not for you. It's not important to you. Your time is not important. You don't have time. You're always on the go. You are the first. Do you know what I mean? You come third on your list. Do you have a dog?
Oh yeah.
Who walks the dog every day?
A kind of poor dog now is a bit neglected at the moment. It varies between the two of us. I try to be the one to do it because it'll make me get out. But if I'm not getting out, then my husband will bring him.
Okay, it's very interesting.
Oh, it's shocking. Like I know it's not good.
Listen, I have this conversation with women every day of the week.
I'm in no denial about it.
Your
I know it's
daughter,
bad.
your husband, and your dog all come above the ladder on you.
Hmm.
You have to change that.
I know it's bad. I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've no problem with any children coming above me on any ladder. My nieces come above everything. But I've got to be second on the run.
I know.
Certainly not below the dog.
When I'm being very intentional and I feel like things aren't crazy, I am on that list and I'm fairly high up in it. But when I go into my like subconscious mode planning and I get too busy, I just drop down again. And it's just busy at the moment. And I think, but when you're self-employed and you're a freelancer like I am, when projects come up, you want to work on them because you don't know what's going to come up in 6 months' time. You know, you have to take it when it's coming to a certain degree. And
sickness will come up.
I know.
Sickness will come up.
I know.
Sickness will come up and then you won't be able to finish the project. That is exactly what will happen. I honestly, like I have a balanced work-life balance because I realized, listen, this didn't happen overnight. This happened over years. And it took massive things to happen in my life for me to change that. But I am no good to anybody when I'm burnt out, when I'm exhausted, when I'm tired, when I'm pissed off. I am no good to anybody. Listen, I'm a great actress. I can motivate the shit out of anything and I can be happy and upbeat whenever I feel like it. But you get a different energy from me when I'm well. And my top priority to be the best businesswoman and the best mentor that I can possibly be is to keep myself well, not my clients. And it's a game changer. You've got to think of what your non-negotiables would become if you lived in a perfect world. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
And
and I know, and I have thought about things like that. And I get into a rhythm of like, right, being mindful and minding myself and the whole lot. But when Shay then gets sick or something goes wrong there, it all goes out the window. Sleep is gone. And my routine is gone because she's home and we're juggling back and forth and like arguing. No, my call is more important than your call. I have to do this. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You have to be the parent while I'm on this call. And then it's like getting back into the mindset because when you come out of then she's been homesick for a week and she gets back to Crest, you're chasing your tail and you're trying to catch up on the things you
yes.
didn't catch up on. And you're in that routine then
But
constantly.
when we get to a situation where things aren't working, we have to look at a different way for them to work. So the argument of my call is more important than yours doesn't work. But what does work is we both have really important calls. Okay, if I move this important call, let's look at the next section. Now, can you move that one? It's not which is more important. Yeah,
It's
but
the
you're just
setup of his job. You can't because what his calls are is a level 1 priority. An entire site has gone down and Dave is called in to fix it.
you've
They
just said,
can't wait 3
okay,
hours.
so you've just agreed that his is more important.
It's not that it is
Well, you have.
operationally. Yeah, because
Yeah, so you've just agreed. So don't argue about it. You've just said his is more important. So stop arguing about it. You're wasting time arguing when actually you've both got the same priority, and that's just to make sure that she's okay.
yeah, yeah, I know. I mean, as she gets older, it gets easier anyway, because she will just watch a cartoon for half an hour or whatever. It's just when they're this small, they're back
Not
and forth and you need
necessarily.
them.
Your
I need to believe that that will happen, Shan. I need to believe that that will happen.
you may need some help, and that might be a third person.
It's just for sickness because we have creche and the whole lot, and it's fine. It's
Yeah,
just sickness at that age, like, because it's so
absolutely.
recurring.
Yourself a lovely little backup childminder. I know it's not easy. Next door neighbour, friend, other parent, network with your parents in school. Make it, make those situations happen. But there's no point in arguing about who's more important because, to be honest, at this present moment in time, you agree that everybody else is more important than you.
I do because I'm the fixer. You see, like that's why I
Yeah,
do what I do. I am the fixer in every situation. I'm the fixer. I'm the first in. I'm the last out. When something needs to be done, I will just get it done. I get sick of asking people, and I just do it all myself. And I do that as well at home, and
yeah.
it's a
And
mom
it's
thing.
really hard. I'm a fixer too. And that's why I love that. Sorry, I can't. Please don't hate me. Because that's how I feel if I ever say to someone, I actually can't do that. I'm so sorry. But it's like, please don't hate me because you can't. You can't be everything to everybody. Well, not if you're not everything to yourself. So that's your challenge. I would say this week is to sit down and see where the gaps are. You've got gaps. You've got
Oh,
gaps.
we do. We
Everybody
do
has.
have gaps. But I will say in that first few years with small kids, it's chaos and
It's not
there's no
necessarily.
time like.
Look, listen, my mum, my sisters all went back to work. Babies were 6 weeks old. It's not for everybody. And that's what I'm saying. There will be people listening going, but. And I'm like, don't say but because everybody is different.
Mhm.
And there's loads of first babies that's so bloody easy. Everybody has a quick second one. The second one's a nightmare. Do you know
I
what I
did
mean?
not have an easy first baby anyway, I can
And
tell you
well,
that much.
absolutely, vice versa. So everything is really individual. And what I'm saying is there's no right or wrong answer. But there is a right format. And the format is that you need to come higher on that ladder.
Yeah, no, I definitely do. And I 100% agree there. But I also now just realize this was just a coaching session. So, like, do I owe you money now? Or, are you going to invoice me?
No, this is me trying to fix things. But listen, that's the premise of coaching is you can't bring in, well, it always works like this and we do this. I'm never interested in history.
Yeah.
It's like, let's look at where the mistakes happen. Let's look at how we can change that today, only today. And will it work moving forward? Because you can't, it's the whole thing about, what's it? Oh, that's why it's called the present. You can't change what happened in history. You can't perceive what's going to happen, but you can change this moment.
Yeah.
And that's why we call it a present, because this is where I work. Like every day, I start a fresh day, a clean sheet of paper, and it makes it really exciting. But and my non-negotiables now are completely different to what they were 6 years ago. They're completely different to what they were 16 years ago. But I have those non-negotiables. If those things don't happen within my calendar month, I am no good.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And they go on my list for ages. Something goes wrong, happens. I'm chasing my tail for a couple of weeks. And then it's like trying to start, okay, what were they again? I need to get them back into my routine and the whole lot. But there was a couple of chapters back actually that he was talking about like, I think it was habits. Anyway, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Something about cognitive dissonance of like how you're like over explaining and how when you're saying you want to do one thing, like me, I want to be healthy, I want to build strong foundations, but then you're just doing something completely different. And and I think it would work really well from an accountability perspective. But it's like asking the question, if you're in an accountability group, you're not allowed to explain. You're just allowed
Yeah.
to say I did it or I didn't do it,
Yes.
with no background, no buts, no additional stories or reasoning or justifications, just yes or no.
Yeah.
And it's a cold hard yes or no. I think I actually, the next time I want to do an accountability group, I want to do something like that, because no excuses, no reasons,
Yeah.
and that's it.
100%. That's the world I live in. That is the world I live in. It's just, yeah, 100%. It's a yes and no answer. And actually, it's so funny. I was working with someone actually, and kind of similar. She's like, I think some people, if they say something enough, they actually believe it. So she's like, I'm on this amazing health track, and she's doing a Zoom with me with her glass of wine in her hand, talking about dry January, and I'm like, hang on a minute now. Do you know what I mean? Because I think, yeah, she's overextended herself. She's given herself these mental goals, but she said them enough that she thinks she's doing them. Dry January was the best because she was like talking to me about it. And then she took a sip of it and I went, that's a glass of wine. And she went, oh my God, it's just such a habit.
Oh my God. Like, how would you not realize you're.
Because got home Friday night, tired, just a habit, goes to the fridge, pours the wine, sits down, makes the call.
It is
And then
habit
goes,
though, because I did dry November, and I know I did drink at the awards at the end of November, and I've done dry January. Now I'm going away on Saturday, so I'll drink when I'm away, definitely. But I'll have done 3 weeks in January. But every time I go and do that, it takes me a good solid 2 weekends for me to stop thinking about it, which is
yeah.
awful because I don't drink that much anyway. Maybe just 1 or 2 glasses of wine. Like I'm like I could take 3 nights to drink a bottle of wine. I'm shocking. I'm asleep on the couch.
I could take one night to drink 3 bottles of wine.
I could do that before I can anymore. Not with my stomach, like we're being
Oh,
celiac. I just can't.
I'm
But
obviously a legend.
it's on my mind, and it's like, oh, I had a shit day, I should have a glass of wine, or oh my God, we'll celebrate, let's have a bottle of wine. It's just, but it's definitely a real Irish thing, an English thing as well, Welsh thing as well. But
Yeah.
like it is though, it's so ingrained in everything we do. It's like, what do you do if you're not having a glass of wine on a Friday night? Like myself and the girls, if I go and meet the girls for a chat, just like you, we wouldn't be doing it with tea, like, you know?
Well, funny enough, my group of friends in Dublin, they do tea meetups now. So they go around to someone's house for 2 hours, have tea at like 5 o'clock, like straight after work, and then everybody's home for 7:30, 8, and they have tea ups.
If I
'Cause
mentioned that now to my girls, I would be laughed out.
well, again, I suppose we're a little bit older, but yeah, and I was joking. Well, I could actually drink 3 bottles of wine, absolutely no bloody problem. I love wine, but
Did.
but oh yeah, look, as you get older as well, it suits you less. So, yeah, the hangovers is not worth it. However, if I'm in the pub, I put water in my wine, so I never have a hangover. And the reason I put water in my wine in a pub is because the wine is normally pants. Um, but yeah, No, I think there's loads of other things to do. I'm looking at paddle tennis at the moment. You've been axe throwing. You could take the girls axe throwing.
Yeah.
Going for a walk, obviously, complete mood changer. I really want to get silent disco headphones and start doing walks.
We had
For people.
silent disco at my wedding for the DJ. We did silent disco. It's
Yeah,
great crack. Silent disco's brilliant.
I went on a walk in London with them on, and oh my God, I've never laughed so much. So I'm looking at headsets at the moment, and I'd love to do it. An ABBA walk, a Beyonce walk. Can you imagine though? You'd be pumped afterwards. You'd just be so full of energy. You'd make time for that, Pamela.
But how's that different to just listening to an album or?
Because there's 20 of you going for a walk together.
And then a group session.
And then you stop and you do a little routine. It's amazing. Now you stop in very quiet places, but I just think it would be brilliant. Anything I do now, I just need it to be like full of energy, full of having great fun.
Yeah, we used to do marathons, all right, back in that. Well, I did half marathons. No, I used to enjoy it. I used to do halves. My husband did fulls.
I always say this actually in Pilates because I teach a lot of runners, and I always say to them, no one ever said to me, ever, come running, Sian. It's such a laugh.
I know. It's great afterwards.
Yeah. No, but no one ever said it. Like, it's the worst sport because you do it by yourself. So that's no good to me. I hate being by myself. Everything, like, give me a team sport, give me paddle, give me anything with other humans, and I'm off. But yeah, I do always tease the girls actually in my class and say, no one ever said to me, come running, it's great crack. Listen, I know you feel great. Your endorphins are going through the roof afterwards, but my God, it's kind of boring. And you're by yourself. Who wants to be by themselves? Well, some people do, but I'm not friends with them because they're by themselves.
I like to think I'm running away from my life until I have to come home. When I'm having a stressful day, it's good. We never read out our law. We're shocking.
I know. Do you know what? We haven't really got time, have we, today?
Oh, it's like 3 sentences. I'm going to read the law because we've actually talked about it anyway. It's basically
last week, yeah.
The law is
never compromise yourself story.
Always prioritize your first foundation.
Oh, yeah.
So it's take care of your body. It is, after all, the only vehicle you get to own, the only vessel you use to explore the world, and the only house you'll ever truly call a home. Your health is your first foundation, which is what we spoke about anyway. And I heard a quote recently, somebody was talking about that. It's like, when you're not taking care of yourself, you're not prioritizing yourself, you're borrowing from your health. And that's what I'm doing. I'm borrowing from my health constantly when I'm not resting, when I'm not exercising, when I'm not taking, and I'm celiac, like I have an autoimmune disease. I have to be very careful with that. I was only diagnosed 2 years ago, so I spent a long time in my life eating gluten when it was destroying my body. That's another whole conversation about having to advocate for yourself in a health system. But like I am borrowing from my long-term health.
Always. I mean, health is, God, we could do a whole week of chats about health, because for me, it's also like, what does health look like? I move most generally every day. I love to cook. I don't eat processed foods. I cook from scratch. Obviously, I'm back on the old no sugar bandwagon after watching You Are What You Eat, the twin experiment. Don't watch it. It's amazing on Netflix.
I started watching. It's all like really, really kind of pushing the plant-based diet now on Netflix. Like, I'll never be vegetarian. I will always eat meat.
Neither will I. Will I. But it's actually the last episode is you've got to get to the last episode because it's more the results from the two diets, because both eat a healthy diet. Both of them are healthy, so it's more the results. But listen, I will always hold weight. I've never been small. I think the last time I bought something from Topshop, I think I was 7 at my sister's christening. I've been so much bigger than I am now. I've never been, and a little bit smaller. But I've just always been this way. I've been this way, all the way through my teens. And from a kid, like I remember saying to my mum, there's no pictures of me as a baby. And she was like, there's one there. And I was like, where am I? I thought it was like a Buddha thing. I thought it was one of those things you see in a Chinese restaurant, the Buddha with the kids. I was like, Jesus, you fed me. And she was like, you were always hungry, Sian. So what do you want me to do? But do you know what I mean? So classically, and it's so funny actually, my mate Pegine, and she runs a wellness, and advocates one. She always says, you're one of the healthiest people I know, Sian, but I will hold weight. I will always hold weight. It's just in my genes. I don't know what it is. I'm autoimmune as well. And so,
but there's so much more markers to health now and measurements for, like, BMI is bullshit, total bullshit. My husband's BMI brings him back as obese because he's not tall, but he holds an awful lot of muscle. Like his like he's a marathon runner. Like he's, he's done the world majors. Like.
It is the composition of the body. However, though, there's still this like marketing, understand, of these thin pictures, and so it's really hard to understand health. And we also get such mixed messages. What I say to people is you can only do your best. But the first thing for me is our whole conversation today is you've got to prioritize yourself. I don't care what's happening in people's worlds. You've got to prioritize yourself. When there's been times in my life that I've been in a dark place and I haven't prioritized myself. Do I like my body much? It doesn't do what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to create human beings. It doesn't do that. Like, it's a shit body. However, it is a vessel. For me, it's a vessel. It's not the be all and end all. It carries my soul and my heart, and those are what are important to me. And look, I've got a great face. Hey, do you know what I mean?
She's like, no, but you give good face. What's that? That's a song there, isn't it? But he talks about that in that paragraph. It's like if you were given a car, and you were told this car has to last you forever, your entire lifetime, you would take such good care of it. Absolutely. And that's what our bodies are, and we don't take good care of them. Like I'll never be, I'll always still have a glass of wine. I don't want to drink every weekend just out of pure habit, but I want to have a drink when I want to have a drink. But I need to bring I don't want to be skinny. I want to be strong, and I want to bring Shay up that way as well, just to know that. And that's what I want, is strength, especially going into perimenopause. I need more muscle mass, or I'm just like, perimenopause will destroy my bone and my muscle mass.
Yeah, look, I want to be, this is who I am. I just want to be happy at the end of the day. Getting on the reformer makes me happy. Drinking wine every weekend makes me happy. I'm being happy. If I want cheese, I'm having cheese, end of. So that being happy, actually, you're happy, endorphins will keep you alive much longer than anything else. So stop stressing. That's what I'd say. Stop stressing. Please prioritize yourself. And that's not about, being the best version all the time. It's just like taking some time for yourself, whether it's like 20 minutes a day, or it's, you bugger off in the car and hide. I do that sometimes too. Do you know what I mean? Just go for a drive and have some time to yourself. But we've got to prioritize ourselves. Women are the worst at it. And it brings happiness. I promise you, it brings happiness, and it becomes a habit. And that's important. We've talked about that rule. You've got to make it become a habit. You have to be a habit for you.
Yeah.
And it will feel really uncomfortable and icky at the beginning, because you'll feel like you're letting people down. And how selfish of me to put myself first. I'm such a bad mum. I'm such a bad wife. I'm such a bad businesswoman. It's bullshit. Put yourself first to become a better mum, a better wife, a happier wife, happy life, the saying, and the best version of yourself to your business. Look, I could go on all day. It's so important, so important. The sermon over. I'm exhausted.
I know. I know. I need to go and get my headshots anyway. Wish me luck. Because
listen, enjoy it. Slap on a bit of lippy. Your hair looks amazing, by the way. Enjoy every second. And please do me a favour. Get it to take angles at the beginning and decide which one you like. It will make the experience much quicker.
Yeah, I know. We'll do it. No, I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
She's a great photographer, so you're in good.
She is. I love Chani. She's great. Yeah.
Amazing. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks for listening. We've no challenge this week. I suppose
think
really
actually everything we've
prioritise
spoken
yourself.
about is a bit of a bloody challenge.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people listening that don't give themselves time and put themselves first. So actually the challenge is when we put this up on our socials, will you tell us how you did it or how you're going to do it?
Yeah. Give us ideas of how to, like, I'm not prioritizing myself. I need some ideas that are easy. And the thing is, it's all real basic stuff, you know. Go for a walk, feed yourself properly, get a little bit of rest, make sure you're prioritizing sleep. But we can't manage to do those 4 things because we make everything else more important.
I do. Give me a ring. I'll coach you through it.
Well, Sian is winning at life. The rest of us are failing miserably.
No one's failing. We can just progress over perfection always.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect at this, but look, I know I'm good at it. I'm going off now to go and lie in my bed because I'm exhausted. See you later.
I'm going to be photographed for Very Fancy.
Amazing. Cheers, guys.
Bye. The music used for the opening and closing of this podcast is titled Pleasant Porridge by Kevin MacLeod. IncompeteTech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0. www.creativecommons.org/licenses/by/4.0.